Hi everyone, I'm Kevin Kopp, and today we are wrapping up our series of interviews with our Stella's Award winners from the 2020 Celebration of Champions. Today we get to talk with Matt Hennessy from Temple Football, and now the newest draft pick of the Atlanta Falcons. Matt, thanks for taking some time to chat with us, and I have to start with, obviously, so many student athletes that we've talked to had such an abrupt end to their spring season. You had the benefit of being able to finish your Temple career the way you wanted to in the fall, but I imagine everything that's happened since in the lead up to the draft has been thrown off by all the chaos that we've suddenly found ourselves in here.
I would say throughout the first part of the process, it was actually kind of as planned. Luckily, the COVID stuff kind of hit late in the pre-draft process. So starting off with the Senior Bowl back in January, which was on a schedule, which was great. A great opportunity for exposure, and then just get that experience being coached by an NFL staff, and then interacting with coaches and personnel people from a different NFL clubs throughout that week was a great experience. And then moving on, about another month of training, which I spent out in Irvine, California, led me to the combine. Uh, Flew out there in late February, and again, that was another great experience. It's everything everybody makes it out to be. It's definitely a long, grueling process, full of medical examinations and a lot of stuff that isn't shown on TV. That one day testing that ultimately gets shown takes place at the end of the week after about 4 days of nonstop interviews with teams, medical examinations, media interaction, and other things. So that was a long, grueling process, but definitely an awesome time and a dream come true to be able to participate in the combine. And then following the combine, we had anticipated having, of course, pro day at Temple on March 16th, followed by a number of visits to different teams around the country, and then workouts at Temple in which teams would fly in and work me out to get a better idea of the type of player I was. So unfortunately, all of those got canceled for me, beginning with pro day, um, and then all the visits throughout that pre-draft period in late March and April. So leading into the draft is a little bit different. All those interactions ultimately turned into Zoom calls with the teams and interviews through that process. So it was a little bit different, but kind of still got to interact with the teams, give them a good idea of who I am as a player and a person. So it was great. And then, of course, leading into the draft was on a schedule, a little bit different again, having it all virtual, but it was an awesome process.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously the NFL draft, at the time it aired, it was one of the first kind of sporting events on television in a long time. So I know there was a ton of interest. But what was that process like for you? I mean, I guess you would have been sitting and watching at home anyway. But what were those 2 days like, waiting for your name to get called in the third round?
Yeah, it was it was a long process. Of course, every pick that goes by, like you're kind of waiting. You have a little bit of an idea of where we're going to end up going, and that was in that Friday range, likely in the third round. So I had a decent idea I'd end up going there, but at the same time, there were probably 10 to 15 different teams we thought I could end up with. So kind of the anxiety of knowing you could be shipped off to 15 different places at the end of it. That's probably like the most anxiety-inducing part of it. Um, at the end of the day, I was super excited to fulfill the dream of getting drafted. So, regardless of selection, as far as number, how late or early in the draft, I wasn't terribly concerned with. I was just more concerned with finding out where I could go. That way, I can get in the playbook, get on the strength program, and try to contribute as soon as possible.
So that said, what has life been like since? Obviously, I'm sure you're excited to be a member of the Atlanta Falcons organization. Needless to say, you're not in Atlanta right now. But what are you able to do? What have the interactions with the team been like? And what's life like for you on that front?
Yeah, so speaking with some friends who've signed with different teams, it looks like teams right now are just doing kind of varying levels of interaction through whatever application they choose to use, whether it's Microsoft Teams or Zoom or whatever it may be. So the Falcons are one of the teams on that spectrum towards the end of using all the available time. So pretty much beginning the week immediately after the draft, started meeting one on one with the offensive line coach, um, and weren't really allowed to do much more than that as far as meeting with anybody else, just due to league rules. And then that next week, we got started up with a rookie mini camp, a 3-day mini camp, which was of course virtual. Um, and then next week got integrated into meetings with the vets. And so since the draft, been meeting every day, kind of business as usual. Just the fact that it's all virtual, of course. So we're not in the classroom setting altogether. And then they supplied me with a strength program, which I've been following since then. Luckily, I have a place to work out up here in New York, so I've been doing the strength program, working out at a friend's garage gym, and then running down in the local high school field. But it's been great. It's been great to join the organization.
I know in some ways this isn't probably exactly how you pictured your NFL career beginning, but we know at some point, in some form or fashion, in some way, we're going to get games played. I mean, what are your hopes for what you're able to step in and do as a rookie for the Falcons?
Yeah, I think it just begins with contributing and trying to help the team win, whatever that looks like. So, like being an offensive lineman, I think it begins with, or an interior offensive lineman. Sorry, it begins with versatility. So, I as far as expectations for myself, I really want to get experience at playing all three interior positions throughout practice. That way, I'm capable of doing it in a game, and it gives me the best chance to get on the field as well if I'm good at all three positions and can help the team. Um, so I'd say that I would say exactly just kind of learning the playbook um, and putting myself in a great position to play by being versatile.
So, Matt, I'll get you out of here on this, and that is obviously you join a long list of Temple players that have made the leap to the NFL. You're one of a record 4 this year that were drafted, more signed as undrafted free agents. I mean, now that you've had the chance to get a little bit of distance from your playing career here at Temple, and now you're getting to see what life is like at the next level and what those demands are. I mean, what is it? What is it that has allowed Temple to be as successful as it's been placing guys at the next level?
Yeah. So kind of just going full circle with that question. That's actually one of the reasons I chose Temple coming out of high school was that they just had such a history of producing pros, and throughout my 4 years there, produced a bunch more. And I think it starts with the culture within the organization and the expectation that's placed on the players of being professionals and the way you handle your business. Um, and I think the expectations that the players put on each other. I think the day you step in the door at Temple, it's expected that you're going to take care of business, not be a distraction, and be a contributor. So I think, and then of course, lastly, being Temple tough. I think toughness is still one of those things, one of those qualities that will take you extremely far in football, regardless of the direction the game goes in. Um, Toughness will always be one of the underlying qualities that really helps players, and that's obviously something we do well at Temple. So I think just the expectations placed on the players to be pros, and the discipline with which we run the organization, and then toughness. I think those two qualities are really what helps Temple players translate well to the professional ranks.
Well, Matt, congratulations on A, this award, B, obviously a belated congratulations on being drafted. I know there are a lot of Temple folks that are going to be keeping an eye on the Falcons this year in the NFC South and wishing you all the best as you head down there and take that next step. Best of luck to you.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Thanks for having me as well.
Absolutely. So that is Matt Hennessy, our Male Athletic Performer of the Year. That wraps up our series of interviews with our Stella's Award winners. We'll see you back here next week as we'll continue to talk to Temple administrators, coaches, and student athletes throughout the summer. I'm Kevin Kopp. Thanks for watching.